Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Power Up Happy Hour. This is Ricky.
This is Ben.
Raj.
And this is Aubrey.
And today we are going to talk about the new Last Jedi trailer that just came out. And as always, let's begin with the cheers. It's weird cheersing with a can. You can't hear it.
That's strange.
All right.
That's why I put it.
Yes. Put it in a glass next time.
All right.
But anyways.
So, wait, it's Monday night. They aired it during Monday Night Football.
The worst Monday night game ever.
What was it? The
Let's
Bears.
not talk about it.
The Bears and who?
The Vikings.
I don't even remember.
They needed someone. They needed a reason for people to watch that game, and it aired, and the internet blew up.
Oh my god, that trailer was amazing.
It's getting good, and
I can't wait.
I'm kind of. It didn't ruin too much.
No, it made it turned a lot of the things from the first trailer that you started making assumptions. It turned them on their head.
Yeah.
So now it's like, what's real? What's a red herring? What's like a flashback? Like everyone's just trying to figure that out now.
It gave me more questions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of misdirection, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, even though in the last scene, it looks like Rey is going with Ren, but it could be just edited and it could be completely different.
But I love that they're going that route. That they're not like over inundating us with trailers and like giving us too much information. Like a lot of movie trilogies do.
So
nowadays.
they almost made the mistake. I don't know if you've seen the IMAX board that they came out, and so I don't know if it's still up, but basically they covered the entrance of an IMAX theater with like a pop-out thing, like how most movie theaters do, and there's two sides, and there's a light side and there's a dark side. There's Rey on one side, there's Ren on the other side, but Luke is on both sides as well, and they have him in like his robe on the island. And then they have him in like a dark black robe, like in the poster, that black one.
Oh,
and
wow.
they were like, "Oh, are they teasing at something?"
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I feel like I don't want any spoilers. Like,
Yeah.
my spoilers
Well,
are theories. I'm trying to avoid everything as much as I can.
I did notice, like, right after that trailer, they released a new, like, fan, like, poster. A new, like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whose
I
background is it on their phone?
I have not updated it.
It's
but
mine
I'm
already. It's the
But
first thing I did.
I noticed on that poster that, like, you primarily have, like, all the, like, dark side people on the right and the light side people on the left. But then Poe was actually on the right. And I was like, oh. It might mean nothing, but I just noticed. Because it's also, like, symmetry. But
Everything's here to mess with us.
I know,
Right
that's
before
what
the
it
movie
is.
comes out.
Here's how I'm looking at it. Instead of left and right, if you go from bottom to top, all the people on the Rebels? No.
Rebellion?
Yeah, Rebellion. They're at the bottom. The Jedis are in the middle, and then Luke's up top. So you can look at it like that too. Instead of looking like left to right, like Poe, Finn, Leia, they're all at the bottom with like everyone else. But there's also stormtroopers down
yeah,
there
but
too.
you have, like, those classic rebels all on the left here. And then, like, you have a bunch of the First Order people here, but then Poe's there. And there's the like.
Maybe you just went by height. You never know.
That's true. It very well could mean nothing.
It's like
I
the
just
credits
noticed it.
in order of appearance.
But no, I'm the same. I'm avoiding.
You guys sound like my English teacher from like 10th grade. What did this blue book mean in this short story? I don't know. Maybe the author just wanted it to be blue.
I've also kind of been avoiding the trailer breakdowns.
There's so many
like,
YouTube videos of
like,
trailer reactions.
I'm sure that most of them are going to get everything wrong, but I just don't want to happen to read something that ends up being right.
Yeah,
Because it gets your hopes up.
I'm not. I
You see
usually
the
don't.
movie and you're like, what the hell?
I usually don't care about spoilers, but with Star Wars, I kind of do. Like I want to experience it all fresh.
I remember when we went and watched Force Awakens. We were watching a trailer breakdown before we went and watched it, and it spoiled a little bit, saying that BB-8 is carrying something, and I didn't even know that from the trailers. It wasn't until that guy mentioned it, I was like, oh, well, that's something that could possibly happen, and that was what really happened, because BB-8 was holding the map for Luke the whole time.
But
I'm super excited. Like I want more Phasma, and it looks like she gets a big
That
fight
battle
scene with
looks
him.
amazing.
that looks great.
And he's
just-
back.
Great,
Come on!
because they needed to redeem
But
that character from the last
He's
movie.
back in like storm. He's not in a stormtrooper uniform, but he looks like a higher up like.
Yeah, I think he's a higher up resistance.
Yeah, right. Like it looks like that. Like he's not in like his
obviously-
jacket. Or
Well,
anything.
obviously, one, he recovers from his
Yeah.
so that's good to see. Two, maybe he uses his powers again, or like maybe people think he's probably still a stormtrooper or something like that. I mean,
Yeah, there's no telling. And then, there's countless characters that could go to the dark side, go to the light side. I mean, what's going to happen
Or
with
maybe
Kylo?
stay neutral.
Is he going to... I mean, we all know Star Wars movies in general typically have a theme of redemption at some point. So I think a lot of people are expecting Kylo to redeem himself at some point in the movie. But what are they going to do with Leia now that Carrie Fisher has passed away? Like, once again, I think that's one thing where a lot of people just assume she's going to die.
Yeah.
Maybe Kylo's going to kill her. I'm really hoping they do something else just to, like, surprise everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think like just because she did really pass away,
Yeah.
I don't think they kill her off in the
Yeah,
movie.
that would be a little
because
weird.
you don't see that really happen like in Hollywood. Like when someone dies in real life during a movie, they don't just like the Joker, Paul Walker. They don't like just kill them off
Yeah.
in the movie. They find other ways to like implement or tell the
with
story.
the way
happened.
we got technology going nowadays, I think they're gonna come up with something.
Well, they already
bigger.
said they're not going to CGI her in anymore, so this is the last time we'll see her. This is it for Leia. So
I also think that's going to be a turning point for Ren.
yeah,
He's going to have the opportunity to kill his mom like he did.
and it
with
looks like
Han
he's
Solo.
struggling with
And he's
way
struggling
more
with
than
it. I think that's
with
going to be a
Han,
turning point
so-
where either he goes completely dark,
Yeah.
or there's still some of like the good side in him.
Yeah, I
And
think
then-
everything here is just to mess with us,
Yeah.
and just to think about it. It's all going to be maybe the opposite of what we
Right?
think.
Because the trailer is a lie.
We were talking about how the end of that trailer kind of shows like Rey, and it kind of looks like Rey and Kylo are talking, and Kylo puts his hand out, and I mean, I personally think that's potentially part of a vision similar to like the one that Rey had, but maybe it's happening. Maybe it's out of context. Maybe it's Kylo who's redeeming at
Yeah.
that point. Who knows? I mean,
Oh, and Kylo with the bandage scar, the little black thing going through his face is badass.
yeah,
It is.
That's a badass scar.
I'm really happy. It looks like he's ditching the mask.
Oh, yeah,
But-
because we actually watched the first trailer and the second trailer back to back.
Yeah.
And you can see like where he punches the wall with the mask. And,
And
the
the
first
first
trailer
yeah.
has like the little broken parts of it.
So
Which
it-
everyone thought was the Vader's mask at first.
I did
I
too
was
at
one of those
first,
people
but
that thought that.
It looks like he's kind of putting that part
I mean,
of his
his-
life behind him and
yeah.
becoming something else.
I think
But-
he's going to be a completely different. Like he was trying to be Vader this whole time, but now he's going to be more like his own.
His
He's
own
gonna
person.
his
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
evil version of
What's
himself.
what's y'all's opinion on Snoke? That now that we see him like in like a real life form.
I'm interested to see more of him. Like
Yeah.
I've heard that.
like, who is he? Like exactly.
I think
like,
he's been described.
What's his agenda?
by like J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson being like super tall too.
Yeah.
So I mean that trailer you don't see him enough, but
I mean, he had a 9-inch Funko. I mean, so
yeah, he's supposed to be pretty big. So
There
But
was a
is he
there
a
was
Sith
a
Lord? What is he?
there was a
You know?
joke
See,
online.
Is he
about
Plagueis?
him,
Is it
actually.
Plagueis?
that's
Plagueis?
a big theory. Could be that. I still want to. We still got to find out who Rey's parents are. Like there's all.
Yeah.
kinds
Yeah,
of
we don't even know who Rey is. Like,
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things out there still.
Here's a question: you think we'll see like a gray Jedi? Do you see anyone go gray?
I mean,
That was my
Wait,
guess.
hold
when-
on, hold
you
on,
can
hold on.
essentially say that Luke is
Hold
a
on,
great
but
Jedi.
explain what is a Great Jedi.
So a Grey Jedi is a Jedi is basically a Jedi who no longer follows the Jedi Order, but is not fallen to the dark side. They walk like a middle path, and it's kind of a contentious thing. Like the Jedi always are like, you can't do that because by walking a middle path, you're more dark than a Jedi.
Yeah.
Which means you fall into the dark side. They basically say it's impossible to walk that closely to
You
the
need
dark
to
side
pick a
without
side.
being dark.
We actually
So-
talked about this when we did our movies podcast way long ago.
Yeah.
And we actually talked about the possibility of having the Grey Jedi in here. And I think me and you were predicting that they're going to talk more about the Grey Jedi and how they're trying to go back to like
Well,
the original.
With the final
all
line
the
of the
like you
first
said,
trailer,
Luke
Yeah.
is definitely he wants to end the
Yeah.
Jedi.
He does.
when
yeah.
he says that it's time for the Jedi to end, I mean that to me it sounds like he's preaching a new path. He's wanting
Exactly.
to walk like a balanced path, more in the middle.
It could be that like the
Um,
new Jedi, like Ren and Rey, their powers are ridiculously
They're different
Yeah.
too.
from what Luke went through, and he was like, no one should have this
Yeah.
much power.
Like we haven't seen the traditional like seduction or like pull of the dark side. We haven't seen that on Rey yet. We haven't seen her experience that. And then you see Kylo in Episode 7 in Force Awakens. He actually says he can still feel it, the call of the pull of the light.
Yeah.
Which traditionally it's never described that way. I just assumed that meant he had a conscience and he didn't
When
like killing
when
people,
Luke goes
but-
through the trials in the tree, what was it called? The Jedi trials with Yoda and everything, and he has to
Yeah,
find
that's in
stuff.
the cave. That's in a Force cave.
In the cave. So, do you think Rey's gonna go through that as well?
I
It
think
looks,
so.
it looks like
It
she
looks
is
like
going
it,
through
right?
it. She's
Yeah.
coming
I think
through up
she's
the
gonna-
water. Like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
happening to her, you know?
I think she's gonna. I think that's when we're potentially gonna get that vision I'm talking about. Is she's gonna have a similar kind of trial? Maybe that's when like those rocks crack and
I think that's how the movie
Luke
starts
freaks
off.
out. Like, I think we'll get a couple scenes of like the training going on before
Yeah.
that.
I want more.
But-
I want more of the Knights of Ren
Yes,
because
we're
that's-
supposed to get him in this movie. I heard that we're supposed to get him in this movie. So
because it's cool. Because I remember when everyone saw Kylo Ren's lightsaber,
was so cool.
it looked badass, and supposedly they all have like crazy ass weapons.
yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, they spent so much time. I'm really curious about Snoke because they spent so much time saying, like, these aren't Sith. Kylo and Snoke are not Sith. They're something else. But they're still
Yeah.
clearly to the dark side. So they're basically Sith without being Sith.
Right.
But
Because they never
So
actually
maybe,
said.
like,
Did
a
they
different
say the
variation of
Sith
it.
at all in Force Awakens? Or they just say the dark side?
I think it was said. No, I don't think it was actually ever said. I don't think they ever said the word Sith.
Sith was never said.
If it was
Yeah.
said,
They
I would
mentioned
think it's
Jedi
into
over and
reference
over.
to like
Jedi.
Vader
Yeah,
back in the day.
it would have been a reference
Not-
to that.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see kind of what they're going to do with that. I'm also curious to see what that whole thing's going to be with the tree and the books and everything.
Yeah, because that's the first time I saw this. That's the first time paper is introduced.
Well, so they're supposedly rumored to be the Journal of the Wills, which are the books that the Jedi Order come from.
Yeah.
It was the original teachings that the Jedi Order grew out of. But
And that symbol in the trailer is the Jedi symbol, right?
it's the symbol of the Jedi, and I believe it's also the symbol of the Republic, the Old
Yeah.
Republic. So
I know another thing people are worried about is Force Awakens was really close to A New Hope.
yeah,
So I think we're hoping The Last Jedi isn't the same as Empire Strikes Back.
I think it's gonna fill the same gap.
Different director, Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
Everyone's worried now that episode 9 is going to be like because J.J. Abrams is back to directing that one.
So basically, Porgs are the new Ewoks.
Oh my god!
See, I think this one will serve the same purpose. Like it'll be kind of a slightly darker story. You'll have a lot of the big reveal in this one, but I don't think the story's gonna follow Empire.
Yeah.
Which is great.
There has to be a big reveal because they're building up to it, like who are Rey's parents.
And you can't follow Empire. Empire
Yeah.
is like the greatest Star Wars movie ever made. But
I'm definitely
I
rewatching.
agree with that. 100%.
I'm definitely rewatching everything
Yeah.
before it comes right now.
so one thing that I noticed is like that temple looking thing where the books are. It's
In the
like
fire
a giant
or
tree.
the tree? Yeah,
it's a
the
giant tree. Well, like so, there's different points mentioned in like other literature, which is considered canon of a forest tree. Which there used to be a tree in the center of the Jedi Temple. It got burned down, but apparently 2 twigs or something survived. After the fall of the Empire, Luke finds them, and apparently the woman who goes with him, I didn't realize till I was reading one of these comics that have been canonized, and apparently the woman is Poe Dameron's mother. And so one of the twigs of the Force tree got sent to Yavin with her. So I'm starting to wonder
That's
now,
how he
like,
ties into it,
is there
maybe.
going to be more tie-in with Poe now? Like, there has to be something somewhere. But
So, do you think all the stuff that's canon? Do you
Yeah.
think they're gonna bring a lot of that into the movie? Because a normal Star Wars fan,
Doesn't understand.
they like we watch the movies and TV shows. They don't read the book. I don't read the books.
I don't
As much as I want
Yeah.
to, I haven't read.
They're
the
gonna
book.
bring
That's
in-
the one thing I feel like they will not bring in the Gray Jedi
no,
because then you would
technically
have to.
the Gray
explain-
Jedi aren't canon.
Oh, they're not. Okay.
No, they haven't. There has never been a Gray Jedi in the canon material. There is in the expanded universe stuff, but that's not
Okay.
canon anymore. So, I mean, they might not exist as a thing, but we don't know yet.
True.
They brought certain things in. So they brought in the idea of the birthplace of the Sith, or one of like the Sith's homeworlds being like Malachor. That was originally an expanded
The
universe.
big lava
thing.
place.
Yeah, and then it was brought in through Clone Wars, and then again through Rebels, which are great shows, by the way. I
Oh my
recommend
god,
you
yeah.
watch them.
That movie was
But-
shit. Clone Wars movie was shit.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even remember, but that TV show was so good.
Oh yeah, but I don't think they'll bring in everything. I think they're going to tie in what matters into the movie, and then the rest. I mean, it's great if you watch it or read it, but I agree. I'm not going to read all the comics or the books or anything. I'll read some of them when I have time and when I'm really wanting new Star Wars material.
So 2
But-
years ago we had Force Awakens.
yeah,
Last year we had Rogue One.
yep,
This year we get Jedi. So next year is the Solo
the
movie?
Han Solo,
The Han Solo
origin movie, and then we still don't know for sure what the third anthology film is.
I wonder what it's gonna be.
Well, they announced the Obi-Wan movie. That's
Oh, that's right. That
Yeah.
is.
But
sorry, I
is
forgot.
it the third
Yeah, it
anthology?
is. It's
gonna
Okay.
be,
I forgot that they announced
Yeah,
it's going to
yeah.
be, which I'm so happy about. I like that so much more than the Boba Fett thing. They were.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
talked
I
about
agree.
that. No, we
Yeah.
talked about it. The third
But
movie's
if
just
Ian-
gonna be him
if
watching
Ewan
Luke from far
McGregor's
away.
not on there, he has to come back as Obi-Wan.
He wants to.
Yeah.
Too. Like Ewan McGregor said multiple times he'd love to come back. He
was
loved
actually
playing that
one of the
role.
good things of the.
He was probably the
prequels,
best
yeah.
thing of the
Yeah.
prequel trilogy.
He was the best character.
Him
Hands
and
down.
getting to actually see Yoda
Grievous.
fight.
Grievous was cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
Grievous,
he-
I like Grievous a
Grievous
lot.
was really good in that.
The
movie.
best. So episode 3,
It just
like
makes me want to watch Clone Wars all over again.
episode 3, the fight between Yoda and Sidious. That was,
Oh, that was so
badass.
epic.
that was
Oh,
really
in
cool.
Probably one of the best
in
in
the hall.
the Senate chamber.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
in the hall. That was so badass. That almost saved the trilogy for me. I
Well,
was
the
watching it right
lightsaber
now.
fights in general, like even the
Yeah,
Darth
they're
Maul.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
Duel of the Fates with Darth
Yeah,
Maul is
yeah.
incredible. The fight between Dooku and everyone in episode 2 is very good. Just
But-
emo moody Anakin was an issue, and
But-
the hatred of sand and all that.
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
The
Singing
dialogue
the,
is just
singing
so
the
bad.
trailer because we can talk about Star Wars for hours.
Yeah, that's true.
What else did you like about the trailer? Because I know we talked about this, the Gorilla Walkers. how big they are compared to the AT-ATs.
Yeah, the AT-ATs are still there, but then you have these massive new things. It's like, oh my god.
See, I didn't even realize the AT-ATs
30 years later.
No, someone
the first time I saw
it. Yeah, someone freezes. They're like, look how small they are. I'm like, what do you look? Holy shit, that's an AT-AT.
Yeah. Well, so it's not clear. I remember I paused one of the frames and you could see it, but Snoke's ship, it's like the Supremacy. It's like supposedly 10 times larger than a Super Star Destroyer, like the one that.
Oh shit! Is it in the trailer?
Vader had? Yeah, I think it's very briefly shown in the trailer.
You see Ren's fighter ship?
Yeah,
that looks badass.
His advanced new TIE fighter thing looks insane. I love it.
And you're like, oh, it's a little bit of he's got a little bit of Anakin in him. Because Anakin was a fighter.
He's just wailing out there. He's doing a great job. I want to see a space battle between him and Poe. Who wins?
Oh yeah,
Poe went off in the last movie.
I feel like that's
yeah.
I feel like that's a third movie set up.
Yeah. Oh, I still think.
Who do you think is gonna die in the second movie?
Potentially Leia, but they also might write her off some other way.
Yeah.
But then I still think we'll get someone else.
I really think Luke's gonna die.
You think Luke's gonna die?
I feel like Luke's gonna die. I feel like he's gonna be a huge part of this movie, and at the end, he's gonna and be dead.
Natural causes?
I don't know. I always thought Luke would die in the last one, for me personally.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a matter of if they're going to serve him more in like an Obi-Wan role, where he's like there, he mentors for a bit, then he leaves, or if he's going to do more of the Yoda thing and just kind of be there a little bit longer.
They haven't started filming, right?
For episode
3 or
nine.
Yeah.
They just did, or they just met.
Okay.
Their cast is getting back together now. It's filming will start soon.
I kind of want them to make one more just to have a nice even number. It's like, I get you're trying to do multiples of 3, but just do 10.
I mean,
or they can do 12.
With how much money they're making off of this,
they're not stopping.
Yeah, with how much money we're gonna get 12. If they end it in any way, I mean, it might not be anytime soon, but we're gonna get 12 probably. There's no reason why they would stop.
The fight scene on the desert, whatever that is, that looks badass with like the red dust coming out.
For that scene. That's gonna be awesome. Really, I just can't wait. I'm a little bit afraid of those porgs.
Yeah,
like, they might just take over.
I was telling you guys, like, I'm a little bit afraid. I'm getting like traumatic flashbacks to Jar Jar Binks and to the Ewoks, which Ewoks are definitely not as bad as Jar Jar, but I'm still not a big fan. And so I'm really hoping
that the porgs and whatever those ice bobcat things are.
Well, see, the Vulpix, I think the ice fox things are just brought in to show you how cool they look.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to actually matter. It looks like one of those porgs is going to get off the planet and be on the Millennium Falcon, so it might be around for a while. Oh yeah, because
it's next to Chewie.
So you think it's the next comic relief?
I think that's its goal. It's the comic relief and for kids and stuff, which I'm okay if that's all it does. I just don't want it to have a crucial role in the story. That was when they lost him with Jar Jar, was when they made him like crucial to story. Exactly. And I was like, okay, I'm done.
R2 wasn't in the trailer that much, except for that flashback scene,
they really
right?
Don't see
or am I missing something?
Or that could be a flashback. I'm thinking it's a flashback scene, but
it probably
no, it is. I think that's when when Ren destroys the Jedi Temple.
It's probably a Force vision. Actually, one of the trademark things of a Star Wars movie is there's never been a true flashback scene in a Star Wars movie.
True.
Like that's a common theme of the Star Wars saga is there's not a true flashback. You see those Force visions, but they'll usually have points where it's like past, present, and future. Mm-hmm. You never have a true flashback.
Maybe they'll break up the movie into
Rogue
different.
One did, but that was it's not
part of the.
Maybe no. I feel like what if Last Jedi does something like that, where like the first like 15 minutes of the movie is back when Luke is training Ren, and then he destroys everything, and then you flash forward to when he's training Ren.
Well, if they do it that way, that's an actual flashback, and they'll have broken that.
It'll follow what Rogue One did.
Yeah,
like it'll go like instead of like going back in the middle of the movie, it'll start off like that.
And you were saying that when Luke said, "I've seen this power before," you think he's talking about Ren, right?
I think he's talking.
Who
about
else
Ren.
would he be talking about?
I mean,
like,
unless
he's never seen any other Jedi.
I did. My boss and I were talking about this the other day, and I mean,
unless he's talking about his dad.
He's the Emperor and stuff like that, you know.
Unless he's talking about
Rey. That's the thing. No one's really talking about like Rey's connected to a lot of stuff, and it's raw power.
Yeah.
And something happened. I mean, we don't know for sure. People think it's Kylo who killed all the Jedi. It could very well have not been Kylo.
True.
What if it was a kid Rey who couldn't control her powers? I mean, there's a lot of different ways they could.
Yeah, because he said he wasn't afraid of it. No, he wasn't afraid of it then, and he's afraid of it now. So I could see that. Yeah. He was like he knew Rey, like when she was a kid. Maybe before Rey remembers Luke, but like maybe that's where he saw that power from. Mm-hmm. Like you see the ground.
Well,
crack.
and you notice how in the trailer. Luke refers to it kind of in a fearish manner when he says like raw power, and then Snoke refers to it almost reverent. He says raw strength. They both are focusing on that same kind of like jargon, which makes me think that scene might actually be when Snoke was talking. It looks like the trailer makes it look like he's talking to Kylo. I think he's talking to Rey in that scene. Again, I think it's all talking to Rey.
Luke with the I've seen some shit eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, so the trailer just came out. I'm pretty sure everyone's seen it by now. I'd be surprised if you haven't seen it.
Watch it.
December
2 months.
December 15th or December 14th is when we're watching it.
Yeah.
What time are the tickets?
11:50 p.m. A true midnight showing again.
I haven't done one of those.
I haven't in
high
a
school.
long time.
I was like, man, I gotta take a nap after work and then go.
I will say Alamo Drafthouse has these cool art designed beer glasses coming out. They have a light side and a dark side. I already pre-ordered both of them.
Of course you did.
Can you get them at the theater?
You can buy them separately now and then pick them up at the theater.
Okay, I might do that. Thanks
might
for letting us know, Ben. What the hell?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't gonna buy all your glasses.
Selfish.
When I was pre-ordering those.
No, can't you order a drink and just take it?
Yeah. Well, you can just go on their website and you don't have to
Don't you
order a
always
ticket.
do
Just
that?
buy
Shut
that thing.
Either way,
$15
but-
Alamo.
The Last Jedi comes out in December 14th.
I'm
15th.
Can't wait.
I know.
Movie of the year. See, it's already so close that I'm already forgetting about the fact that Thor Ragnarok comes out in a month.
Oh my god.
Less
And
than a
Justice
Justice
League.
League.
month. Yeah, and Justice League.
It might not come out with the PR stuff going on. Right now.
All right, but that was our trailer review of The Last Jedi. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're on the iTunes podcast, Power Up Happy Hour, Power Up HH.
SoundCloud.
Whoop. And we're on SoundCloud, yes.
Check out our mixtape.
It's fire. But yeah, listen to us and like us, subscribe, and tell your friends about us. And as always, I'm Ricky.
I'm Ben.
Raj.
Summer.
Thanks for listening.
Cheers.